Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ken Frederick Podcast, episode 115, the Bright movie review. I don't know if it should, the Netflix movie, Bright.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. If you just stumbled across us on the interwebs, check us out at kfpodcast.com.
Still a movie, Ken.
It is a movie, but it's on Netflix. kfpodcast.com, at kfpodcast on Facebook, at Ken Fred Podcast on Twitter, at Ken Frederick Podcast on your other social media needs. Also, please check us out on SoundCloud, where we have fresh weekly content where we talk things like Brock licks children and sports, comic book stuff,
Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. So we got Dawn,
Hey,
Brock,
Hi.
Justin,
Yo.
and we're going to talk about this Bright movie that we watched on the Netflix. And
debuted what? Right before Christmas?
yeah, it's like 2-3 weeks ago.
22nd, I believe.
Starring Will
Yeah.
Smythe.
Oh, Smythe.
I was planning on watching it, but then Ken watched it, told us
It
about
was
the
like,
party.
you guys need to watch
You
this
gotta
movie.
watch it. You gotta check it out.
I feel like this is right up our alley because of how deep the universe is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was an easy thing for us to watch, review, talk about.
Yep.
So
Watched it yesterday.
why don't you go first with a little non-spoiler review? What's your thoughts?
So I liked it. I really like the universe, and that's what you said I would like.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I think that it's very unique in a world that, like, you know, they're mixing magic. And the good thing I like about it is I feel like they kind of did this before in like a Hellboy type movie where there is magic, but you don't know about it.
Yeah.
And there's a secret organization
Yeah.
that keeps mankind. They're not ready. They always do that bullshit.
Yeah, where humans can't handle
humans
it.
can't handle it. So you have the BRPD or whatever these different organizations are that hide it. They do it in like Men in Black with all that. This one is cool because it's just right in the open.
Yeah.
That humans and these magical creatures have history together. They've gone through things together. So the universe, I think, is really cool. I thought Will Smith was really good in it. I really liked him. I thought the flow of the show, I didn't really like the direction they go into because it just, again, I kind of have a thing with me where I don't like shows that just take place in one day. Where I like a sort of, in a movie, I like it sort of brought out over.
I agree, but I think this story did well in one night. It's kind of like an interesting
Yeah. And I wanted more of this world and more
Yeah.
detail. It left me
definitely.
wanting more. So, but all in all, I thought it was well done and good, and I enjoyed it.
Brock.
For a direct-to-Netflix movie, I thought the effects were exceptional.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought they were really well done. I like everyone said, the world is great. Instead of Chinatown, you have like Elf Town.
Yeah.
Different
Elf Town.
things.
And it was so like heavily guarded when they were going through it. Like, well, I don't like going through there because it was basically like all the rich people lived
Yeah.
there.
The elves are always special, aren't they?
Yeah.
The elves are always special.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like,
all right.
there's a lot of class situations with
Yeah.
these races as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and they left a lot open too, where they didn't really give details. Like they say, "Oh, we chose the wrong side." Like the orcs say that multiple times throughout the movie. They don't really say what that was or what caused that to happen or anything. So that's what's making me really want more and hope that they make more.
Because they talk about a big war that happened with this Dark Lord, and it's not really a spoiler. That's part
Yeah,
of the
that's
thing.
in
And
the
they
first 5 minutes of the movie.
Right, they talk about that, and they don't really tell you. I was a little confused. I didn't really know what all the the races are. There's different. We'll get more of that in the spoilers.
Yeah.
But a lot of different people involved. Kind of Lord of the Ring-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like modern day sword and sorcery. Instead of it being in Middle Earth, it's in California.
Yeah.
It's like if you had Lord of the Rings and then you went into the future with it, what the world would look like.
Yeah, like if it can progress over time instead of just happening then. The only thing I didn't really like the ending, which we'll get into in the spoilers.
Yeah. I agree.
I enjoyed it. I've read and actually read, not listened, assholes. I've read a number of book series that are similar to this. It's the subject is it's urban fantasy is what they call it, and it's
urban
basically
fantasy.
modern day with magical creatures and different things, and they interact with humans and whatnot. I've read a ton of books, and every time I read one of these books, I'm like, man, this would make a really good movie. and now they finally brought something like that to the screen. It's cool. Netflix has already greenlit sequel, so we're gonna get Bright 2 at least.
Even brighter.
I think. Yeah.
Brightest.
I think it's planned for a trilogy. It was the original plan.
Well, the
so we'll see
storyline
what
definitely
happens.
set it up for that.
Yeah. But no, I really enjoyed it. You guys have said a lot already. Will Smith was good. I liked Joel Edgerton as his orc buddy, his partner.
That was what was his name?
Nick.
Nick Jacoby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, I thought it was interesting that he was the first orc police officer. And again, that's not a spoiler, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed it overall. Again, there were a few things I had issues with. There are a few moments that I thought were incredibly cliche. But other than that, it was a good time. I want to see more of the world. I want to see more movies.
Cool. All right. I really can't. I mean, we said it 3 times. A lot of the same. I agree with all what you guys said. So we'll just skip the spoiler reviews.
Okay.
So I'll just do this. I liked the concept of the magic wands. That only certain people can hold them.
A Bright.
A bright can wield it.
And how powerful they were.
Yeah, and I also
The effects were really cool.
Yeah.
The way it was like dripping magic.
yeah.
Off
the
of it.
effects were
Yeah.
incredible.
I did not like how, of course, Will Smith is a bright.
I was
Yeah.
hoping it was the orc.
Me
That
too.
would have been better.
And also, too, if they wouldn't have had that guy from the Circle of Light say it in the car, like, "Oh, he's the prophecy," like maybe it wouldn't have been as.
You kind of knew it that Will Smith
Yeah.
was going to
Yeah.
be that. You knew it. It was leading towards that.
Which,
But it was interesting that it turned red in his hand, where everybody else was like blue.
So
Yeah.
there's got to be, they're gonna have to explain that somehow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure
Could be
it's
a
probably
different race, even
Maybe.
human versus a
Yeah.
elf.
Or
maybe.
or he's a hybrid. He's his mother was a bright, and his
Snowblower.
father.
I mean, I it was a little cliche, but I mean, it fit for the end because there was no way to beat that lady.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Unless
clearly you
someone
knew that's what was going to happen,
Right.
But Justin, spoilers. Anything that you liked, didn't like?
Again, another one of the, and you mentioned the classes and the different.
Yeah,
You know, I thought it was a little weird that all the orcs were just gangsters and
Yeah.
and kind of hood and
And
saw-
football players.
Yeah.
except for, and I mean that kind of fits their races. They're bigger, they're stronger, but I
It's
don't know.
slow and slower, but they can read humans better, which is I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like you said, the elves are always the top, the pinnacle. You know, they didn't really deal with humans a lot. It was really, they just kind of were focusing on.
Yeah. I mean, really,
The
other
other
than
races.
orcs and elves and fairies.
I like when his buddy Jacoby in the car was doing what human faces look like.
Yeah.
When he was like, "This is what humans look like when they're like mad about their job," and he was like doing a face. He's like, "What's the face when they just shut the up?" And what's an orc face when he just shuts the hat and drives his car and minds his own goddamn business? He's like, "What's that face look like?" I
like-
felt Will Smith was
Denzel Washington in Training Day.
not more than that, but I felt like he was Mike Lowry from Bad Boys.
Yeah.
A little bit,
But
except
with his,
he wasn't rich.
wasn't rich. It wasn't his partner because he
Yeah.
was yelling at him like how he does there.
Yeah.
Like, "I'll do the shooting, you just shut the hell." You know, like that's how he was in Bad Boys.
I also like the orc was as a rookie. Like he's like, I shot a human. He was all excited about it.
And he was a diversity hire. They
Yeah.
kept referring to him as
Yeah.
that.
And what do they say? It's like no one in the feds care about LA orc relations. I was like, and it took a lot of like aspects of racial tension and
They played a lot of that. There was the cops beating the hell out of an orc
orc,
and they had to
yeah.
mind their own business.
Yeah.
Touching a lot of like sensitive
Yeah.
subjects today's police brutality and corrupt cops.
I
and-
liked the guy with the sword that was holding up the whole intersection.
Which ended up being important. Which I hope they get to more of those those people before.
he was interesting.
But one thing I was going to say is I like sci-fi that's done well. That's a good social like commentary on what's going on. I feel like this has been the first in a while it's kind of been able to touch on that.
Yeah, the treatment of fairies was terrible.
No.
Yeah, what was up with that? Why are you allowed to just kill them?
Like,
Like,
they're more like pests than anything 'cause they don't seem like they just eat shit or like throw shit in
And
their
but it looked like it was alive and like talking and stuff, and he
Yeah,
just murdered it, which I thought was a little
They're just
strange.
angry little creatures.
yeah.
But they're most of the books that I've read, the fairies. Now they don't treat them like that, but they are just kind of angry little
fairy
bastards.
part was odd because I thought he was going to like shoot away. Then he's like killing it and blood's coming out of it. I was like, oh, it's like a bug, but it looks like a little man. Like,
and then the guys next door, like, yeah, you do your LAPD thing.
Yeah. And he's like, fairy lives don't matter. And said that line.
I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see them actually have a part because I'm sure they're one of the races in the 9 armies.
Yeah.
But like they seem to be more of. I almost got to think that these are homeless fairies where they're not civilized, so they're just trying to eat whatever they can. And
well, from what I could tell, speaking of the 9 races, there was humans, there was orcs, there was elves, there was fairies. I spotted a centaur police officer.
Yeah.
Did you spot that?
No.
Yeah, he was at the very beginning.
Yeah, he was in the
that.
beginning. He was great because when they had like the squad breaking up like a riot.
Oh, I totally missed that.
He was like, it looked like a horse. I was like, oh, that's a centaur. And he was like walking with his centaur.
There was also a centaur cop guarding the entrance into Elf City.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was a centaur.
Centaurs are cool.
There's like, that would mean 6, 7, 8. There's 4 more races then. I don't know who they would be or what you would include in them. They didn't really talk.
I would assume.
I think at one scene I saw a dragon too flying in the sky.
Around, yeah.
Did you see
I saw
that?
that too.
I missed
When they're
that.
showing the horizon of the city, and it looked like there was a dragon. I was like,
It was
I
real
think it's a
small.
dragon.
Okay,
It was like
I
real
missed that
small.
one.
Yeah.
I would guess there's probably going to be trolls. Maybe. What was Gimli?
He was a
dwarf.
Dwarves. I'm guessing it's going to be that. Those are typical for magical races.
I really enjoyed the Latino gang that was just
The wheelchair guy.
Yeah.
The wheelchair guy, Poison.
Let me make love to my wife again. So
And
mad.
get rid of this. He pulls up his colostomy
Well,
bag.
the magic wands felt very Lord of the Ring-ish with me with the rings.
Yeah.
One ring.
Where were you when you knew it wasn't a good idea to have it, but when you got near it, you couldn't resist the temptation.
Yeah.
That's how everybody was when they saw the ring; they couldn't resist it,
Yeah.
and that's how.
Sorry.
I didn't really like the part that they turned that every cop was bad that was in his division. Like when all those cops showed up in that scene, and
they
I'm like, even the
all hated
captain's
Nick.
bad. Like they're
Yeah.
just gonna kill.
Margaret Cho is
Yeah, they're gonna kill everybody here and just be okay with it. Like I thought that part was a little much because then he just
Well, it was only 4.
it was the 4 of them. Yeah.
So it's not their whole division.
Well, I mean that was everybody that was like his friends. You know.
That's the only 4 that they foreshadowed.
Yeah.
They were gonna
But
be
then the
evil.
captain was bad. You know.
The feds turned out to be good, though.
Yeah.
I feel like that elf's evil.
You think so?
I feel like
He looks evil.
Yeah, which might be what they're trying to do is to give us a swerve. But I'm like, oh, he's just trying to get
Well,
up.
I think all the elves had resting bitch face.
Yeah. Well, I think it's their shtick.
So that group, because I had him listed here in the characters, they were called the Magic Task Force.
Yeah.
And you had that his guy was named Candemir, and Hildebrandt was the big guy, which I thought he was like a troll, but he's just a human. He was
He's
like a
a
real
fat
big,
guy.
big
Yeah.
fat guy.
I thought he would look like a big troll.
He looked like
guy.
a big
Yeah.
kind of bird. I thought he was gonna have like hoofs for feet or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
2 dicks or something.
Like he looked like he was gonna have like centaur legs
Yeah.
or something like that. Why? I like how when they drove their cars, there was
There was
always
a flying V.
yeah, there's always 2 behind and 1 in the front. Like that's gonna be tough to constantly drive like that. But they were actually turned. I don't think he's gonna be bad. I think he's a good elf.
I think so. Like I said, I think they all just have that angry look all the time.
The
and-
way their look was cool. I like
Yeah.
the fact that they have a task force. They just deal with magic. I would like to see maybe even that spin off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I
if you
don't
want
know.
to just do bright movies,
Yeah.
that task force I think would be cool.
That could be a show.
That could be a show.
Yeah.
Tracking down other ones, doing things
Yeah.
like that.
I'm down with that.
Because you could add a lot of cool different types of cops.
or
And,
just storylines, to any
Storylines,
kind
I
of
think that
magic.
would be an
Yeah.
interesting
Because they
route.
even said it's not so much all magic wands. Because maybe it was, I don't know if it was the movie. I found a thing on YouTube where it was like explaining where magic actually started.
yeah.
They said all cities had like a magic user, and all of them used like either amulets or something. But the Dark Lord used magic on his own body, and his body, when he died, turned into the first magic wand.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to show
Where'd
you
they get
guys.
that from? Because they never said that in the movie.
It was I think the people that wrote Bright realized there were some holes in the story, and they put out this little. I'll show you guys afterwards.
I would
or if you want
definitely-
to cut now and you want to watch it.
No. What, the video?
Yeah, I can just pull it up real quick and find it.
Yeah. I mean, we can put it in the description.
All right.
You
Yeah.
can go down and watch the video now. It's in the
Well,
link.
do you want me to find it now while we're
Yeah,
recording?
go ahead.
All right.
Find it while we're talking. I wanted to see more with this Dark Lord. I wish they would have done a flashback and maybe showed him a little bit, or maybe they're saving that for going forward, but I wanted to know more what happened there. Like, apparently it's a part of their history that there was a war. The orcs chose the wrong side. They feel guilty about it. They're not, like, over it. You know, like, people haven't forgiven them yet. And
But it was hundreds of years before that.
Well, it was like thousands of years, I thought, or something.
Okay, maybe it was thousands.
It was
of years.
a
I
long.
know it was
like,
a long time
it was
ago.
a long
People
time
still
ago.
haven't forgiven him.
Because if you notice in the thing, they didn't talk about religion a lot.
No.
And
So it makes me believe that maybe they have a different view. They didn't talk about like Jesus or religion or what happened. They just talk about this Dark Lord. You know, I wonder if this was like kind of their religious lore.
It's possible. But like you said, I think it makes sense that they didn't really go back and foreshadow that at all because, like you said, this took place over one day.
Yeah, it was like one day. That's what I mean. They didn't have a lot to do.
You know, so maybe in the next movie they'll expand it out a little bit and they'll give us some backstory on that.
What do you think about the Shield of Light?
That guy was great with the sword.
So what, did poop all over him or something?
I liked that they had that like base with all those weapons.
Oh my god,
and
yeah.
all those guns and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like they were the good guys trying to keep.
They must have made them seem like terrorists, but they were just trying to protect people from magic users.
And what was the chick's name? Tika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like a good elf.
And what Tika did to that first bad elf chick was holy crap.
What, like morphed her to the wall and all that?
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was watching
I
when
didn't
they first
either
walked
until
in.
they went back and showed
One
it
guy's
to,
all like on fire, his body's still lit up. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on in here? There's a lot of like.
Yeah, but when I first saw that, I thought they tried using the wand and maybe it like incinerated them or something.
That's what I thought too.
The video, the scene where the two Latino guys grabbed the wand, and they just turn into powder, and they're like, where'd they go? He's like, you're breathing them right now. And what about the Inferni? Did you like them?
They were your typical like stalker villain.
Here's my
types.
biggest problem with them. The three members of the Inferni show up in that strip club when they're holed up and kill the whole Latin gang in seconds. I mean, they're killing them like it's nothing. Then they take on a SWAT team. They annihilate the SWAT team, but they can't beat Will Smith, one orc, and an elf that was like injured and depowered and sick in a grocery store.
Yep.
And that, I'm like, why are they having such a hard time here with Will Smith? Like, they should be able to kill them with ease.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't really understand why they were struggling so hard to beat Will Smith. Because he was taking a
plot convenience.
They
Yeah.
made them beat that gang way too easy. It was like kind of like they were like, it was like watching The Matrix. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they were like agents going up
a
against
lot of this stuff was very Matrix-esque.
Matrix-esque. Yeah, I agree.
All right, I found it. If you guys want to, do you want to pause and watch it or just keep going?
Pause it right now and watch the clip right now.
Magic is as old as time itself. As early as 29th century BC, amulets, crystals, and other relics were used to perform acts of magic. At its origin, magic was used for good, and nearly every village had a wizard as their magic keeper. Things changed in 26th century BC when the new Egyptian pharaoh Khufu used his powers to erect the Great Pyramids. Noticing his hasty rise to power, others quickly followed suit until every civilization was ruled by magic. The most powerful of these ancient wizards was Sargon the Great of Akkad. As the ancient tale goes, Sargon transcended mortality by blessing his own body with magic. In late 22nd century BC, he mysteriously fell ill, cursed with a magic annihilation virus. Legend has it that the first magic wand was originated from Sargon's dead body, and the only creature powerful enough to handle such a deadly weapon was his executioner, the Dark Lord. While most creatures bowed before his powers, one rogue orc would be immortalized for standing against the forces of darkness. Jurok founded the Shield of Light, a shadowy resistance army in 2139 BC. In 2109, Jurok and the Dark Lord finally faced each other in the War for Every Soul. History forever changed as an orc grasped the wand with his bare hands, surviving and finally wielding it to defeat the Dark Lord. Jurok was hailed as the first Bright, a being who was able to handle the world's most powerful weapon, the magic wand. By the 18th century, global leaders joined hands to officially outlaw magic and enacted strict punishment for those found practicing. From Stonehenge to the Taj Mahal, suspicions of the use of magic ran rampant for centuries. When nuclear bombs were suspected of being created with a wand in 1945, the Magic Task Force was created to monitor global magic practices. Few wands exist in the world today. Legend has it that uniting 3 wands would be a force strong enough to resurrect the Dark Lord, plummeting the world into darkness.
And there you go. So interesting. Thank you, Ken, for that.
Hey, anytime.
Definitely gives a little more backstory.
Yeah. Was that officially from the people?
That's from the Netflix YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
So they released it. It's
that's filling in holes then.
yeah.
A
I
lot
think
of
that-
holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely filling in some holes that we're missing about where that comes from.
Because they only mention like, are you showing it during the
Yeah.
video? They only mention like the 3 wands can bring back the Dark Lord
Yeah.
once in the
Yeah.
whole thing. So, and I don't know how they figure out that 3 is going to be the one that brings them back. Is it because it's 3 movies? Is that how they?
Probably. Yeah.
3 is a magic number.
Reason I
Yeah.
remember.
1 is the loneliest number.
Mm-hmm.
So what'd you think of the gang of orcs? The fog teeth orcs.
I like that they played death metal and it was their greatest love song.
Their music was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just screaming and yelling.
Viking. It was
I thought it was
Black
funny
Metal.
that they all just had football jerseys on.
Yeah.
Every single one of them had a football jersey on.
Oh, I thought at first, I didn't realize that the group was called Hogteeth. I thought a great orc football player, last name was Hogteeth. I'm like, oh, they really like this Hogteeth guy.
Yeah.
But then I'm
Like,
like, oh,
no, it's just their street gang
Yeah.
name. And I like that they have the teeth, and he filed his teeth off. And
because he's not blooded, so he has to file them down.
what did that mean, being blooded?
They explained that to be blooded, you have to do a great act of courage and selflessness, and his
Runs into the fire. Or
well,
what?
his grandfather and his father never did it because they were just trying to be normal people.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like almost if you seek out like this adventurous life, so if you're a thug or a gang or something, you can be blooded. But if you try to live a normal life, there's no reason where you need to be having a great act of courage to become blooded,
Okay.
and then you can get your teeth. But I like that even like the orc that was driving the car in Elf Town just looked over and started like pointing at his teeth and like making fun of him because he wasn't blooded yet.
Yeah.
The police officer.
Yeah.
So
Was that guy that they rented? Was he another cop?
what?
The other orc that they saw? in
No,
the-
he was just he was a chauffeur for the elves.
He was a chauffeur. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I caught that.
I didn't catch it. I wasn't sure who that was at first.
No, he was just a chauffeur, and then that's when Will Smith even goes, "Wow, even the drivers around here are dicks," or something like that. And then
I wish they would have called it something other than Elf Town. I thought that was kind of a hokey name.
yeah.
I thought with all the names they gave all these people, you could have came up with something a little bit more.
Well, let's be honest, if they're making elves like these like great,
Should have been Rivendell.
Yeah, like Rivendell or something like that. You know, Elf Town.
what makes them seem like elves are very high on themselves, so why wouldn't they just name the town after their race?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it does
It
sound
looked
hokey.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold plated everything and
Yeah. You had to like pass security to get through it.
yeah.
Any of you guys see the movie Time?
No, Lance. Why?
Sorry. No, it just Elftown reminded me of the wealthy district in that movie.
Yeah.
You know, everybody just walked around, you know, high fashion clothing. Nobody worked. They just somehow magically had money,
Huh.
and they didn't have to worry about anything. So
I like the chemistry between Daryl and Nick. I thought it was good.
I was disappointed that Will Smith's first name was Daryl. It just seemed
He
very
hit for the cycle. Remember Daryl Ward the pirate?
oh no. You're the only person I think would know that
Oh.
reference.
Daryl Ward hit for the cycle. So did his dad.
Both as pirates.
I don't think his dad
you
was a
just didn't like
pirate.
that his name was Daryl.
Yeah, it was Ward.
Yeah, they didn't call him Daryl until like the last scene of the movie.
Daryl. Like, who the hell's Daryl? Like the same thing with like Jacoby. They call him Jacoby the whole time. They're like Nick. I'm like, who the fuck is Nick?
I thought their relationship was good.
It was weird too that the orc had like a regular name. Like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
Nick Jacoby.
Yeah, he's just trying to be kind of normal.
Yeah.
I did not like the dynamic between him and his wife and his daughter.
That didn't feel right at all either.
It
Him
seemed
and that girl
strange.
didn't have any good chemistry at
Well,
all.
that
either.
and the fact that that they were even like racist against Nick.
Yeah.
And that didn't feel right to me.
Yeah, like his daughter sarcastically saying, like, yeah, he's a human being too, or something like that.
Yeah.
He's a person too.
Yeah. It was odd, and then they really didn't serve much purpose.
No.
He just calls them, get out of town, and that's the last you see of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't understand what was going on with his daughter because he dropped him off. Was that?
I think he dropped him off at
her parents.
to babysit.
But wasn't her parents black?
They never showed them, I don't think.
I thought that he came out and just kind of like talking shit on. Like I
don't know where he was. It
seemed like Daryl, like their daughters from another. Like it just was like, I don't know. That part of the story seemed very convoluted. Like you didn't need any of that story.
Mm-hmm.
Him and her didn't have much chemistry.
She was just a hot white chick that was like in scrubs for a little bit.
Yeah,
she wasn't even hot.
Yeah, it was kind of. It was bad.
Yeah.
I didn't like her in that role.
I don't understand why he's like, get out of the city. Like, I mean, I get why, but I don't know. It just didn't seem right.
I didn't understand. Like his wife's a nurse. He's a cop. Like, and then they're living in like the projects. Like,
yeah.
Or like, I don't. That didn't make any sense.
I feel like there's backstory of like Daryl, like either gambling or doing something and blowing his money.
We don't know how long he was laid up from getting shot.
Oh, that's true.
I didn't understand why they were like they go out and it looks like they're like right in the inner city projects, but like he's a cop. Like your wife's a nurse, he's a cop. You wouldn't be doing that bad. Like I didn't. There was a lot
unless the distribution of wealth in this
is different.
Yeah,
it was odd.
Yeah,
he's like, keep doing your gangster stuff. I'm trying to sell my house. Like why is those the guys you live next to? Like,
yeah.
I felt like they really overplayed like racial stuff too in the movies. Like, all the black guys they saw in the movies were all these, like, gangsters having a cookout, having a barbecue in the front yard. That was
Will
really...
Smith.
Yeah, and then Will Smith. And then they run into Latinos, and they're all gangbangers with machine guns, all the Latinos.
Yep.
It was very...
Well, I think it was easy for them to do that because all the orcs that you see in this movie are gangbangers.
Gangbangers. And
yeah, it's easy to just group them all together.
They did a lot of grouping in this show of people together in groups.
The only group that could be like diverse is the Circle of the Light, and they're all dead from what you saw. Like
they were different. The Shield of Light.
Shield of Light.
I didn't really care for Tika's sister either as the main villain, Lilith or Lalith or whatever her name was. I thought she was.
I didn't feel any of the women in this was very developed. Like
I didn't understand why it was so hard to kill her too. Like she got shot several times and just kept showing back up and.
Healing with blue.
But she had all the residual magic from carrying the wand for so long, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how they explained it.
And the weird scene is, she was sisters with Tika. They were sisters.
Yeah.
But in that scene where like Tika's in the water trying to revive herself, and her sister comes in there, it almost gets like erotic, where she's like trying to seduce her, kiss her, and then tries to start killing her again. I was like, I'm not sure what's happening in this scene.
I feel it's just elves being weird.
This is elves being weird. There was a lot of elves being weird.
And you could also talk. Were they actually sisters, or were they sisters in the organization?
I think that's what it was.
Or because I think there were supposed to be. There were three of them. It was Lalith, the chick that Tika melted to the wall, and Tika, and I think they were the three that were supposed to use the wands to bring together to bring the Dark Lord back. So,
and then Tika's like, "Oh no, we shouldn't do this," kind of thing.
Yeah.
So where do you think they go with these movies in the future?
Well, the other wands have to show up.
Yeah.
Is it just more stories centered around like Will Smith? Is it more like a day in the life of type things, or is it like bigger?
I feel like the next one's gonna get bigger. I feel like I feel like the feds are gonna have to come to Will Smith and.
They're gonna end up as part of that magical task force.
Oh yeah,
they're afraid of him because he's a bright.
Exactly. So right now they're hoping that nothing else pops up and he can just stay as like a police officer. But I feel like something else is gonna pop up and they're gonna need those two to help.
I
out.
hope they don't change the Jacoby character too much. Where I like his innocence. And I like his questioning and being kind of timid about stuff. I hope they don't get away from
his over-explaining.
Yeah, over-explaining stuff.
I also like the fact that he's like almost chaotic good, where he's like, even when Will Smith was shooting the cops, like he didn't realize why he was doing it, so he was willing to like take Will Smith in. So
that part kind of bothered me because I felt like everybody in that movie was having a hard time explaining things. Like when Will Smith just turns around, instead of just telling him, they're trying to kill me right now, and they're going to kill you. I'm going to turn on him.
But it wasn't the whole movie. It was Will Smith can't explain things to other people.
Exactly. And then he couldn't explain it, He's like, just calm down. He's like, you shot this cop. Just calm. Like, tell him what happened.
Yeah.
And then when the Latino cop comes up too, oh, just calm down. He's like, you put your hands on the goddamn ground. I'm like, here's another person Will Smith can't explain what's going on.
He gets killed.
And they're going crazy. You know, that guy was going to get killed.
Has anyone seen the wrestler Loki recently where he just wrestles in a suit? That's what the one guy from the group reminded me of. It's like, this is just house show Loki.
I hope we get to see the Dark Lord.
Who do you think they cast as a Dark Lord? Prince.
Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom.
Christopher Lee. No, he's dead.
Michael Chiklis.
They cast his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, that would work.
So here's my last question. Why do you think critics were so hard on this show?
They don't have imaginations.
Exactly. Let's be honest. The storyline, the world was good. The storyline's predictable. Like, you knew what was going to happen most of the time. Nothing was surprising. I think if this would have been a major motion picture, it would have got panned real hard.
Yeah.
I
think?
Yeah, I think that coming out, people would have been like, oh, why'd I spend $13 on this, blah, blah, blah. I think it being a Netflix show, people can watch it as a guilty pleasure, be like, oh, this wasn't bad. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I think it was better than movies like Dark Tower that were out and some other ones. I think this was more...
I think it had better special effects than Dark Tower.
Yeah, I think it
Definitely
was probably better than that. I mean...
I don't know why critics are so hard. I don't know what the expectations are. Like,
a lot better than a lot of, like...
Transformers.
A lot of Tom Cruise movies.
Yep.
You know, like a better setup and a better world.
Poor Tom Cruise.
I don't know, yeah, critics were really hard on it. Rotten Tomatoes destroyed it. A lot of other...
I saw it was getting like 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I feel like this has a strong upside to it.
Yeah. I'm excited for more of it. I think they could do more with it. I
This
think they could do more of it and maybe even branch into a TV show.
This reminds me of how people were kind of hard on the first Thor. But you need something to introduce yourself to the universe, and once people get familiar with it, you can go in and like really start digging deep into Centaur cops and Minotaur lawyers and trolls and fairies and whatnot.
Lighten up on the fairies, though.
Yeah.
The last scene where the fairy flies at the camera, that was kind of stupid.
Well, that reminded me of Men in Black 3.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, oh, here's an
End of a Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So there's parts of this feels like they were trying to make a big summer blockbuster out of it.
Yeah.
Instead of realizing, like, I wish Netflix would look at this and go, we don't need to fall into the cliches when we do our own movie because we don't have to answer to the social norms that people expect out of a summer blockbuster or a big special effects sci-fi thing. We can have a story, dump the right amount of money into special effects, and have a good movie because people will watch it because people already come to Netflix anyways. Yeah. I don't feel like they need to draw people in by having all that stupidness. Yeah. But yeah, as soon as I saw that...
I mean, nobody is going to go see the advertisement for Bright. I need to go get Netflix to watch that movie.
No.
Right.
Yeah, that's not... Stranger Things is going to do that. You know what I mean? Like... Maybe if they get a good start with the Millar World stuff, that's going to bring in nerds. Like this movie isn't going to get you to sell Netflix. This is going to make people that have Netflix feel like they actually have something that's special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways they can take it. You know, there's, like you said, spin-off TV shows, multiple movies. You know,
I think this is a great universe that they've created, and it's it's unique. It feels different from everything else you're watching. Yeah. So, and also, like, nothing against Will Smith. I think he did fine in this movie. I don't think you need to dump a ton of money into guys like Will Smith to make these things work. I think you could have had any up-and-coming black actor play that role, and it would have been just fine.
Yeah.
Like, the Will Smith didn't sell me on that movie. Yeah. Like, you could have had...
Well, I think Will Smith... The guy who directed this also directed Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
And that's what brought Will Smith into it.
Oh, okay.
Because Will Smith liked him. It was probably like, yeah, I'll do a movie for you. Yeah. Sure, you know.
Which...
I'm surprised Jaden wasn't in this.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I did see the next Karate Kid. I didn't think it was that... it wasn't Transformers 5.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Go check it out. We like Bright.
Are we going to do our ratings?
Sure.
We'll go ahead and start.
It's hard to rate this one, but I don't know. I'll go 3.5.
All right, Brock.
3.
3.
I think a solid 3. I don't think it dips below that. 3.5, I feel like it seems too high. So 3. And that's the thing that sucks is like it's not an
I'm giving it the extra half because I like the universe so much.
Yeah. Well,
The upside.
The upside.
I think there's a strong upside with this.
Yeah.
I think that this could be on par. This is such a huge universe.
You thought I was going to hate it.
I don't think you were going to hate it. I thought you were really going to like the universe.
Okay. Good.
I think that I think the story was weak, but everything that was the upside was the rest of the show.
Good. I agree.
But all right, any other closing remarks?
Nope.
All right, thanks a lot, everybody. Please like, share, subscribe, invite. Thank you.
And what?
Kiss your mother on the mouth for me.